Your mind is the lens through which you see the world. Change the lens, and suddenly, the world itself changes. But most people don't believe this. They think their life is carved in stone, unchangeable. And because they believe that, it becomes true. This is the story of Jack Miller, a man who lived most of his life convinced that he was destined to beg, destined to suffer, destined to be invisible. Until one day, everything changed, not because the world gave him more, but because he learned to see differently. Jack was born into poverty. His earliest memories were of hunger, dust, and rejection. As a boy, he'd sit by the roadside, watching other children walk to school. He wanted to join them, but his father would shake his head. "School is not for people like us." So Jack grew up believing he was less than. Each day, he begged for scraps, bowed his head low, avoided people's eyes. And when they threw him coins, he whispered, "Thank you. I am nothing." Years passed. His hair grew messy, his clothes ragged. Jack became invisible, blending into the background of the bustling city. He'd sit on the same corner every morning, watching rich businessmen walk past in polished shoes. He hated them, yet admired them. But deep inside, a voice always whispered, "This is your fate. Don't even dream." One rainy night, Jack curled under a broken shelter, shivering, clutching the coins he collected. He looked at the city lights, tears mixing with rain. "Why, God? Why was I born for nothing?" The silence answered with more rain. The next morning, something unusual happened. A man stopped in front of Jack's spot. Not the usual stranger tossing coins without looking. This man looked directly at him. He wasn't dressed in luxury. He wore simple clothes, but his eyes were sharp, alive, and kind. "Why do you sit here every day?" the man asked. Jack was startled. He stammered, "Because this is my life. This is who I am." The man tilted his head. "Who told you that?" Jack blinked. "Everyone. Life. Reality." The man crouched down, eye to eye. "No, that's not reality. That's a mindset." Those words pierced Jack like lightning. The man dropped a small book in his lap. It wasn't money. It wasn't food. It was an old, torn notebook with just 2 words written on the cover. "Think different. Read this," the man said. "Then decide if you want to keep living the same way." And he walked away. At first, Jack was angry. A notebook? Really? He needed food, not philosophy. What will words feed me? Empty pages? But hunger does strange things. That night, with nothing else to do, he opened it. Inside, the pages were filled with short lessons. Your thoughts create your world. The poor think in limits. The rich think in possibilities. Gratitude unlocks abundance. Jack laughed bitterly. Gratitude? For what? For scraps? But still, he kept reading. Day after day, between begging, he read. The words fought his beliefs like fire meeting ice. Maybe I am not cursed. Maybe I've been thinking wrong. Slowly, changes began. The next day, instead of bowing his head in shame, Jack sat straighter. Instead of whispering, "I am nothing," he began saying softly, "I am more than this. I will change." People noticed. Some gave him more coins. Some mocked him. But Jack's inner fire grew. Weeks later, he tried something radical. Instead of begging, he offered to clean shoes at the roadside. Most ignored him. Some laughed, but one man agreed. Jack polished those shoes with such care that the man doubled the payment. For the first time in years, Jack earned through service, not pity. And in that moment, he felt alive. Day by day, Jack changed small habits. He read more. He practiced gratitude, whispering thanks even for a single meal. He stopped saying, "I can't," and started asking, "How can I?" Months passed. Jack saved enough to buy a set of shoe cleaning tools. He stopped begging altogether. The city that once ignored him began to recognize him. He wasn't the beggar anymore. He was Jack Miller, the man who worked with pride. From cleaning shoes, he learned customer service. From customers, he learned about business. One day, a shopkeeper noticed his dedication and offered him a small job. Jack worked harder than anyone. He arrived early, stayed late, asked questions, learned numbers, watched how money flowed. Years later, Jack opened his own little stall. Not big, not fancy, but it was his. And every evening, when he locked up, he whispered, "Thank you. I was never cursed. I was only blind." This isn't just Jack's story. It's yours. Right now, you may feel trapped. Maybe by money, maybe by fear, maybe by your past. But hear me clearly. It is not your prison that holds you. It is your mindset. If you think you are doomed, you are. If you think you can rise, you will. Jack's life didn't change when the world gave him more. It changed the moment he decided to think differently. And so can yours. So tonight, ask yourself, what story is your mind telling you? That you are nothing? That you'll never change? Challenge it. Write a new story. A story where you are stronger than your excuses. Because the truth is simple. Change your mindset, and your life will follow. If this story touched you, subscribe to Echoes of Hope. Here, we share stories that remind you, you are not your past. You are not your limits. You are the author